Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the St. Louis Spirits Draft Day Super thing. Once again, this is John Fleming. Once again, I am controlling the St. Louis Spirits, and once again, as you can probably tell by the game started numbers here, this team got very fortunate when it came to health this season. Guys just stayed healthy; they stayed going, and let's look at some of the stats before we get to the team numbers. So points per game, the four of the five starters were the guys who were putting up most of the points. Hakeem's numbers have been going down recently. He's at 14.5 points per game, which is interesting, but you look at definitely a drop down over the last couple of years, which is unfortunate. But he's still getting rebounding numbers. He's still playing good defense. So the reason that his relations is considered heating is because I kind of lowballed him a little bit. While trying to offer an extension, and not only did he decline, but he got very mad about the offer. I was a little bit low, I'll admit. I'm not surprised that he didn't take it, but it is a little bit weird how aggressive he was about it. But so you're like Tim Hardaway, Greg Anderson. These guys are putting up double-digit numbers. Buck Williams a little bit less of an offensive threat, but kind of doing the things that he was brought in to do. Rebounding wise, it's the big guys in the middle who are doing the bulk of the work here. Chris Mullin leading the team in assists, even with a couple point guards who were right behind him. Yeah, steals Chris Mullin. Yeah, like Rick Smits has really become basically just like a small version of Hakeem, which gives me some sort of hope if something happens where we're not able to like extend Hakeem in the long term. But regardless, yeah, 69-12 is the team's current record, and part of the reason why we're at 69-12, which is the record we were at going into the final game last season, we've lost the last two games because they were just totally meaningless games for both teams. So our lineups were pretty mediocre, and as you can see here, kind of similar things going on this time around. It's basically the entire starting lineup is sitting. So Scottie Pippen actually got hurt during the last game, kind of coming off the. I mean, I guess he started the game, but so now we're going to have Mookie Blaylock playing shooting guard along with Tim Hardaway, kind of going to the small lineup in this game. Not that it really matters that much, but let's see what happens here. Spirits are playing the Jazz, who are quite bad, but did beat us last time, which is fine because, again, not going full force here. Yeah, looks like we're going to lose this game. So once again, 69 victories. MVP this season's Karl Malone, 25 points, 11.3 rebounds, 5.7 assists. Yeah, good player, obviously. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was Rookie of the Year. Good player, probably helps he played with Charlotte, honestly. Kenny Walker, Sixth Player of the Year. David Robinson wins DPOY. Blue Edwards wins Most Improved Player. Once again, Sean Moore is Coach of the Year. We do not. John Fleming does not win Executive of the Year. It goes to Luis Pollard of the Hawks, who you can see here, 66 and 16. So they were quite good, but not the best record in the NBA because that belongs to the Spirits. But that's just going to be motivation for us, I think. Looking at the All NBA first team, Magic and Michael are the guards. Karl Malone and Len Bias are the forwards, and then David Robinson at center. No arguments there. That's a really strong group of players. Second team, you have Michael Adams and Isaiah Thomas as the guards. Charles Barkley and Walter Berry as the forwards. Arvydas Sabonis as the center. Third team is Reggie Miller and Winston Garland, which is interesting. Hot Rod Williams and Xavier McDaniel as the forwards, and then Ralph Sampson at center. So the Spirits get shut out of the top three teams. We'll have to kind of dig around and see, what kind of representation the Spirits have. But all defensive team, you have Ron Harper and Michael Jordan as the guards, Len Bias and Malone as the forwards, and David Robinson at center. We do have a representative on the second defensive team. Looks like Hakeem Olajuwon is the center. Clyde Drexler and Michael Adams are the guards. Hot Rod Williams, Xavier McDaniel are the forwards. All-rookie first team, you have Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, Derek Coleman, Hank Gathers, Lionel Simmons, and Gary Payton. And And Lyle Simmons, yeah, Derek Coleman is an 83. Lyle Simmons is an 81. And we have certainly looked at Gary Payton last draft and end up getting him. Kind of ends up being whatever. So rookie second team is Felton Spencer, Cedric Ceballos, Travis Mays, Kendall Gill, and D. Brown. First round we have Portland, but obviously we're going to want to reset the lineup. Presumably Scottie Pippen is still out. He is, yeah. He's, I think it's 2 to 4 weeks was his injury status. Not that he's like, a pivotal player for us necessarily, but I think you have fire icons next to the entire bench here. You have a center, a power forward, a point guard, and a guy who's a true shooting guard but can play some small forward if necessary. I think that this works out because Mitch Richmond can also move to small forward. I think this team's pretty well got it. Yeah, looking at the rotation, a little high on the minutes for Mullen, but overall, I think this is roughly what we like to see. Should be able to get through the first round against Portland, but I guess we'll see just what happens here. Okay, kind of close through the first half. Right, Spirits started to pull away late. Okay, good work there, team. Getting a little nervous there, but Chris Mullen gets 19. Yeah, looking at the Trailblazers, it really does kind of seem like Clyde Drexler's kind of carrying a team that's like, Jay Humphries. I assume it's Michael Thompson still. Yeah, he's a lifer with the Blazers at this point. Ed Pinckney, David Wingate, yeah. Former St. Louis Spirit. Brian Shaw, not exactly doing awesome there. But yeah, got a victory in game 1. Let's try to win game 2. Hopefully make somewhat quick work of the Blazers. Didn't do well in the first quarter, but second quarter making the comeback. Spirits take game 2, a 31-point victory. Or a 21-point victory, sorry. But yeah, Chris Mullen, Mitch Richmond. Almost got a double-double out of Rick Smits. Actually, almost got a triple-double out of Rick Smits. He had 8 assists off the bench, which is fascinating. But yeah, I think clearly this was the team. I don't want Simcast Live. I want Simcast. My hope is we can finish the series and maybe get Scottie Pippen back by the start of the next series. But still losing this game right here. Wow, nice little comeback there from the Spirits. Let's jump in. 1:11 left, up by 4 against the Blazers. Got the volume kind of loud on the TV. Let's turn that down to solid 10.
1:11 left to play here in the fourth. Johnson finds Olajuwon. St. Louis moving the ball around. Here he goes. And Mullen with the slam.
This is why Mullen's
looks like we have new graphics for the NBA playoffs. I think we may have ventured into the next era in the my eras. That would make sense. This is around when it would kick off.
Here's Pinckney. Pass to Wingate. 5 on the clock. The 15-footer. Shaw, no good.
That's not a bad look. He'll miss that chance, but he'll get them to fall if he gets space like that.
Smits passes to Mullen.
Just trying to get some ball movement here.
And here is Johnson.
Up by 6 points.
Olajuwon.
The fact that they're not fouling is confusing, but I guess they've made their choice. Kevin Johnson hitting 3.
Three-point shooter. But you give him one like
that's a dagger right there. I think that Pinckney did not put that up immediately.
And they're going to move on to the conference semifinals. And that about wraps it up, folks. We hope you've enjoyed our broadcast of the NBA Western Conference quarterfinals. Clark Kellogg, Mike Fratello, and David Aldridge, and the rest of our 2K team. This is Kevin Harlan signing off. See you next time.
Yeah, Kevin Johnson, took over there. And yeah, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin scoring in the 20s. Just a well-balanced overall performance by this team. And onward we go to the second round, where we'll play either Seattle or Dallas. In the meantime, the team that got the Executive of the Year is on the verge of losing to the Boston Celtics. So let's see how that works out. Yep, they're eliminated. So, honestly, the Eastern playoffs are all sorts of crazy because the top 2 seeds both got eliminated. But let's just, worry about the Mavericks first. Don't have Pippen just yet, or don't have him back just yet, but we should be able to have some power here. And, a 30-point lead, this seems like it's an over one. Yes, it is. Mitch Richmond leading the charge. Yeah, I'm just amazed looking at some of the Hakeem Olajuwon numbers. Like, he's doing okay. It's not like Hakeem's doing poorly, but, clearly not the superstar that he was not too long ago. All right, Spirits pull ahead a little bit late there. 37 points from Chris Mullin. Yeah, like I said with Hakeem, the lowest scoring player on the team. Only had 5 points. He had 10 rebounds, he had 4 assists, but not quite necessarily what you're looking for. Honestly, he's probably a candidate. If we can't get him to kind of calm down and sign an extension, might be a candidate for being traded next offseason, which seems nuts, but that's where we're at. We have a really close game here. All right, we are all tied up. Minute 36 left. Let's jump in to game 3.
1:36 left in the fourth quarter. Johnson attacking. Oh, and the jam by Johnson.
And considering Ron Harper was covering him, I kind of can't believe he got through that easily.
The Mavericks trailing. Now Harper. Inside. That is acquired. That one doesn't go. Mullin with the defensive effort. St. Louis has gone 5-9 when they put up a 3-point shot tonight. Pass to Richmond. Anderson outside. And Bull pulls it down.
Boy, patrolling the paint well.
And having a 7-7 center does seem pretty convenient.
You need against him.
People just kind of standing there.
From 11 feet away, it drops. A huge shot to tie it up.
Not shying away at all. Fearlessly stepping into that big shot. Wow. Beautiful.
That takes real guts. I think his whole arena was holding his breath.
Now here's Anderson. Pass to Mullin. Got a piece of it. And as it goes out of bounds, St. Louis able to keep the ball.
Good activity.
Yeah, not sure what they're doing about that. Seems pretty clear.
Activity defensively.
And he wanted to steal it, but still making an impact for his team.
Olajuwon checked in for St. Louis.
Thought Hakeem would be able to take advantage of the new goal there, but not quite.
To take the lead. Not enough on that one as it misses.
All right, so the Spirits have the
15 seconds
ball.
left in the game. Kicks it out to Olajuwon. Back to Richmond.
Do we have a timeout? We do. So we're going to go ahead and take that timeout.
St. Louis calls
Kind of get
timeout.
reset here, but we can set up for the final shot, which is a nice thing to have. Yeah, let's just go with the quick lineup. I'm a little weary about Alvin Robertson over Mitch Richmond, but honestly, Mullin's going to be the guy taking the shot in all likelihood anyway.
Olajuwon outside. To win the game. It's gone.
Boom, there we go.
Game-winning shot.
That has to feel great. Finding the game-winning shot right at the last minute. What a play.
And so it's St. Louis winning this one. It's time for us to say goodbye. We hope you've enjoyed our second round coverage of the NBA Western Conference Playoffs.
Always fun to get a nice little dagger there. Shout out to Ricky Winslow, who had 25 points, and yeah, would not have been my guess there, but he was leading scorer for the Mavericks, and then Chris Mullin, leading scorer for the Spirits. Scottie Pippen is fully healed. Okay, so let's see how the rotation looks putting Pippen back in. Yeah, probably not a huge difference, honestly, but still a nice player who can do good things. Mavericks have a 10-point lead through one quarter, but the Spirits bounce back, and yeah, it looks like this is probably it. Yep, Spirits get the sweep. This team is 7-0 in the postseason. Gets 31 points out of Chris Mullin. Scottie Pippen gets 0 points in his first game back, but you know, it's something. So it's gonna be the Spirits against the Lakers in the conference finals, and then Pistons and the Celtics in the East. But let's just worry about our side of the bracket first. All right, we have a tight one here. Let's jump on in. 1 point lead for the Spirits. It is Spirits ball. So that classic clash of colors, but
Pass to
you
Anderson.
can figure it out.
Johnson inside. He's guarded by Johnson.
And Johnson is just a winner. Someone who wants to bury important shots.
Johnson against Johnson. Worthy down low. He doesn't hit that one. Good D by Olajuwon. Anderson with the ball, and it's Johnson picking him up. St. Louis moving the ball around. Johnson outside. Mullen against Scott. 6 to shoot, and he gets the bucket. Now it's a 5-point St. Louis lead.
This is why Mullen's guys get him the rock. They know he's ready to deliver in the clutch.
Johnson double team. Lee passes to Hinson. Outside, Scott. Lee, a screen on Mullen. Wide open. It's in! What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Nice shot there.
And a nice play by Scott. Outstanding in the secondary playmaker role.
Johnson attacking.
I'm not sure how Kevin Johnson keeps blowing past Magic Johnson, but he's got his number, it seems like.
What do you think, Coach?
5-point lead looks pretty good.
Can't afford to waste time if they can get a score quick enough.
So obviously Mullen's going to be the guy that we're going to want shooting free throws for us. Kevin Johnson would be a solid backup option there. So yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with the defensive lineup.
Robertson comes in for Anderson.
Mitch Richmond is pretty nails too, but I don't think we would need more than 2.
And the Lakers with possession here. A floater. Rebound by Williams. And they go to the intentional foul.
Buck Williams gets the rebound and passes it off to Chris Mullin immediately. That is good work there.
Gets the first, and that increases their lead to 6. And so he drops them both. It's a 7-point game.
You never want to leave points at the line, especially when you're trying to build on your lead.
And the Lakers call time here. 30 seconds left in the fourth. What do you think we're going to see coming out of this timeout?
Boy, they're going to have to get a shot up quickly and then foul right away.
It's going to be tough.
This team's starting to venture into territory of over. We need to stop here. I'm not positive that they would even try to bother fouling.
Calls timeout.
Said they inbound and immediately call a timeout, which is interesting, but whatever, it's fine.
Seconds left in the fourth quarter. Randall no good.
Great defense. Forcing the tough shot. Getting a hand up on him is a must.
Johnson kicks to Robertson. Pass to Johnson.
Try to get back to the big free throw. Yeah, they're not even fouling. Can't quite run the clock out, but only a couple seconds left.
The baseline J off the mark. And so it's St. Louis winning this one. That concludes this broadcast of the Western Conference Finals. For our reporter, David Aldridge, on the...
Yeah, Kevin Johnson just really took over in that game. See if we can take game 2. Once again, we got a real close one unfolding. Slight lead here for the Spirits, but a lot of game left, and trying to pull ahead a little bit late. Yeah, let's just take that victory. Chris Mullin gets 34. All that good stuff. On to game 3 we go. Yeah, Spirits had to actually dig in a little bit here. And a couple guys fouled out. Looks like Mitch Richmond, Kevin Johnson both fouled out. So that may be part of why the bench really started operating. But still, 3-0 lead for the St. Louis Spirits. That is a real good start. So let's simulate through here a little bit. Spirits are making a nice little comeback. 1:37 left, down by 1. It appears that it's Lakers. Oh, it's our ball. Cool. So, see if we can get this win, get to the finals,
Johnson kicks to
or if we're going to go back to St. Louis for Game 5.
Johnson at the elbow. Anderson against Randall. Outside for Richmond. Shot clock at 3.
Richmond, somebody his team leans on offensively.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to draw a foul in there.
Dynamic score.
And a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for Los Angeles.
You got to admire how hard they've worked to get to the line. All game long, they've been going right into the defense and drawing foul after foul.
Boy, they showed no hesitation on the mid-range game as well. I thought that was really a big key for them.
Oh, Olajuwon. There we go. He's starting to earn his paycheck there, blocking what otherwise looked like it was going to be a bit of a gimme. That's beautiful.
Hey, bringing that postseason intensity, so critical. You know, these plays can change the trajectory and outcome of a game.
They might still score here, but they're not going to. I don't think they're going to score on a bucket that easily.
To take the lead. St. Louis with the rebound.
Good defense there by Kevin Johnson especially. Beautiful. That's some real Showtime basketball there.
He's feeling the pressure. He's not showing it.
And so it's Johnson who brings the ball up.
3-point lead.
They trail by 3. It counts. And what a sensational
Nice play by Magic. They needed something there.
This is Magic time. When the game's in the balance, he makes it happen.
Here's Johnson. Yes!
And Johnson is just a winner. Someone who wants to bury important shots.
Scott against Hardaway. Pass to Johnson. Got it! And that shot brings them to within just 1.
This is who this squad wants taking big shots. Johnson is up to the challenge, showing real leadership there.
Johnson.
How are they leaving Kevin Johnson this open? I truly want to know.
A monster bucket.
Timeout Lakers.
I was going to be content to run down clock and just hope to leave them with very little time at the end. But if you're going to give me a shot that wide open, that is... All right, you got to put in the defensive lineup, I think. I don't know if Chris Mullin. So we'll keep Robertson there. We'll actually put Mitch Richmond in at small forward so that he and Kevin Johnson can be the big free throw options.
Sideline reporter David Aldridge. David, it's all yours. Take it away.
Hey, Kevin, during that last break, I heard the Lakers coach talk to his team.
I tried to take a charge there, did not get called.
Beat ourselves.
All right, missed the shot though.
We're right in this.
Team's not the guy I want, but a decent free throw shooter. He'll probably make at least one of these.
Thank you, David. He hits the first one, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. So he gets them both, and it's a 5-point game.
Big free throws there, making this a 2-possession game.
A comeback is going to be really tough right here.
Well, they need points on a quick foul. It has to go perfect.
Scott can't get it to go, and that's an intentional foul.
Right, things are looking really good here for the Spirits. 5-point lead.
And that hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the second. And no good on the second free throw.
Not good on the free throws that second time around. Just be careful, guys.
Outside. There's the three. That's it. They've
On to
won
the finals,
series.
the Spirits go.
A challenging slate of games in the Western Conference. They were certainly tested, but that prepares them for what lies ahead.
From day one, this was their goal. Make it to the finals. But really, this is just the beginning for them.
They know there's still a lot of work to be done preparing mentally and physically for an excellent team coming out of the East. It's going to take everything they have to accomplish their ultimate goal.
You have to say,
Still, they
even
get to
though
celebrate tonight, and
this
they've
sweep,
earned it
this
as
felt like a
champions
hard-fought
of the
sweep.
West. That
Wasn't like the
concludes
Lakers
this
were
broadcast of the
bowing
Western
down
Conference
easily.
Finals. And so for Mike Fratello, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan alongside our entire two.
So now we'll see if we're playing the Pistons or if we're playing the Celtics in the finals. It's going to be the Detroit Pistons. I don't remember if we've played the Pistons, at least recently. Let's see who's on that squad. So they have Isaiah Thomas as the leading point guard, Gerald Wilkins, John Williams. Yeah, I mean, not an easy team, but I think that Isaiah is like pretty clearly the guy on it. You know, deep minutes for like Tony Kukoc and stuff, but you know, I think that this Spirits team should be the favorites, but we'll see. On to game one we go. All right, minute 8 left, up by 4. Let's close things out.
We've got 1:08 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Johnson kicks to Anderson. Drives to the hoop. And Anderson slams
Wow,
it in.
that was a throwdown there from
Focusing on his
Anderson.
teammates. He does a really nice job, I think, of sensing and feeling when his guy is open.
Here's Thomas. St. Louis making their last shot. It's tipped. Anderson outside. Kicks it out to Elijah Wan. Johnson draws the double. Pass
Feels
to
like
Mullen.
slowing it down is a sensible thing to do here.
Now here's Mullen. Down to 5 on the shot clock. St. Louis needs to get off a shot here. The 3 from Johnson.
Good defense,
And
but
foul right there.
pulling down our own miss on the rebound is a tough break for the Pistons.
So the first one drops. And that
7-point
makes it a
lead here.
7-point lead.
We see the extra work he puts in from the line. It shows through when he needs it
This
most.
is number,
So
or
he
makes number
goes
2.
2 for 2 at the line. And it's an
8-point
8-point
lead for
game.
the Spirits.
3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Puts up a deep 3. It's good. Oh, and that cuts the lead to just
Nice
5.
play there.
20 seconds left in the fourth.
Maybe a little
quarter.
risky throwing it that
Decide
far to
foul
Mullen,
attention.
but getting it to our best free
Well, I
throw
think the foul
shooter.
is his only option to stop the clock. However, this is not a guy that.
Oh, this is the first
Yeah, he
one.
did what
That's
he had
not
to do.
great.
You can't just hope the ball gets past to a weaker shooter.
He's able to
Does hit number
the
2.
second one, and that increases their lead to 6.
It's a 6-point
Now a timeout
game.
called by Detroit. They're trailing by 6. Any ideas on strategy being discussed right now in that huddle?
Look, the game's not quite done yet, but they need points right away.
Can't make one mistake here. Have to act fast.
Put in the defensive lineup.
Nineteen seconds left here in the fourth quarter. It falls! And now they trail by just 4.
Hey, this is a rinse and repeat, just like last game. He's had his fingerprints all over this one, looking totally dominant.
He realizes his strengths on offense and does a fantastic job playing to them and finding ways to stay hot.
Good on the first, and that puts them up by 5. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 6-point ball game.
Ideal outcome for this trip, making every shot and padding their lead.
Thomas passes to Lambier. Johnson for 3. St. Louis with the rebound, and he commits the intentional foul.
All right, honestly, one free throw will put this away to the extent that it needs to be put away any further.
He drops the first one, and that makes it a 7-point lead. And so both free throws are good, and it's an 8-point game. And so it's St. Louis winning this one. So that's a wrap for the first game of the NBA Finals. For Mike
Game
Fratelli.
one's over. Spirits get the victory. 27 points from Mitch Richmond. Hakeem nearly gets a double-double, which he's been... They used to be his hallmark in these games, and now he's just not quite getting the points. But, 9 points, 10 boards. That's fine. It's not bad. Let's go on to game 2. You once again have a barn burner. Spirits kind of come back in the fourth quarter, up by 1. It's the Pistons that have the ball.
.115 left in the fourth quarter. Thomas deciding where to go with it. And that won't go, missing the go-ahead bucket. And Olajuwon has got the ball here for St. Louis. They lead by 1. On the wing, Mullen. Lambier defending. Mullen kicks to Olajuwon. Poked away.
Team with a tough ball loss there.
Williams against Mullen.
Luckily, got the transition defense down.
And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
I mean, Smith had a foul there. That was the right move, but fortunate to get a guy at the line with a chance to take the lead.
Use it on the floor, not on the shot. But the foul had to come one way or another.
Williams, he's checked in for St. Louis. Richmond comes in for Anderson. And Detroit with a change here, too. Wilkins is checked in for Mason.
And this is why his team trusts him at the line, because they believe in his ability to hit clutch shots.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Wilkins against Mullen. Takes it inside.
There we go, and 1.
Oh, nicely done.
Yes, he coolly got that one to drop under pressure.
And that one falls for Mullen.
Not as easy as people think it is to keep your focus when there's so much riding on these free throws. Excellent work in the clutch.
Timeout, Pistons. What do you think we're going to see here?
Look, they've got more than enough time to get a basket here.
And they've got to be aggressive. The defense doesn't want a foul.
.16 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Johnson against Robertson.
We have a timeout left. Time to call it.
Oh, what a shot.
A super high percentage shot there. You
We're
just
already
can't allow
setting
him to
Chris
get
Mullen
that
up for
close.
another buzzer beater.
St. Louis calls timeout. Six seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Here's Mullen. Can't finish in. And
not
regulation
quite
now
able,
complete.
so
We will go
on to overtime we go.
And don't go away. We'll be back momentarily.
Things going well so far in overtime. 16 seconds left. Let's jump in. Let's close things out. Let's get a 2-0 series lead heading back to Auburn Hills, Michigan.
Thomas finds Wilkins. Oh, good with the triple. And they foul intentionally. They're going to have to do that now again and again.
That's not enough. Ooh, not enough to get them into the bonus.
Stop
That's
the clock.
fortunate.
Here and they could be back in it.
Here's Mullen. And Isaiah Thomas picks up the foul. And so he's picked up his final foul.
So Isaiah Thomas is fouled out on top of
Early into his night.
all of the obvious reasons. Not a great situation. Speaking of not great, that free throw attempt.
And the second of two is good. That puts them up by 5. Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. They trail by 5. Guys, your thoughts?
And, you know, the clock is running out on them now. They just couldn't pull it together.
They've got to be disappointed for sure. Not their best effort. Because of this, it's looking pretty much over for them.
Mason with it. Spins. And so it's St. Louis winning this one. That concludes Game 2 of the NBA Finals. And so for
Good effort there by the Spirits. It's very much the Chris Mullin show, getting 36 points. Hakeem Olajuwon going 17 and 13. You know, a worthy bronze medal effort there. But we're going to move back to Detroit. Try to win a couple games there. And if we only win one of the games there, we'll have a chance to actually win a title on our home court for once, which would be fun. But let's just sort of see what happens. First game very much going the Spirits' direction so far. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Victory for the Spirits. Chris Mullin leading scorer once again. Team high 9 assists. And now a chance to win it in 4. So we'll jump in here at the end regardless if we're leading, which so far we are. Move that speed down a little bit just to make sure I don't get too crazy. Yeah, this is looking like a done deal. So a 24-point lead for the Spirits with 56 seconds left. This is basically just the coronation here at the Palace.
56 seconds left in the game. Here's Thomas. It falls for basket number 9 from the field.
Nice work, Isaiah. It doesn't matter, but nice work.
They're running away with this one right now.
Now they're just seeing how big they can make this lead.
Richmond outside. And he uses the glass on the layup.
And they were all business tonight, all about the work.
Mitch Richmond was like fully formed into a number 2 scoring threat for this team. It's a good exclamation point there.
Here's Barlow. Back to Thomas. Williams with the block.
When Williams gets those long arms
Buck
up,
Williams is about to get his first ring. In the meantime, Kevin Johnson just wants to dribble this one out.
Anderson outside. Pass to Richmond. And they've done it. The new NBA champions.
That is a 4-peat for those counting.
We'd like to thank all fans for making it out to
To be crowned a
Yeah, the St. Louis Spirits are
champion
full
on
on
the road
dynasty
is
at this
something
point. They're
else.
it's
To
just
win and
beyond
to do it
any
with
level
a
of
crowd that was
dispute.
so emotional, and so into this game, you've beaten the team and you've conquered everything that this great arena holds.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet moment for the home crowd. But all full credit to the visitors and the amazing job they did to never lose focus or drive.
The team lifting the trophy. Last time, question mark?
And even if
they are once again not going to show the MVP be given out. It has to be Mullin, right? Like, he's led the team in points every game. He's up there for assists and rebounds as well. It sure seems like he should, for the 3rd consecutive season, win Finals MVP. Spirits have won a championship. There he is. There's our guy, Chris. He is 28 points per game. It's weird because I don't think Chris Mullin's hit an MVP. I don't think he's hit an All-NBA team yet. He's only 25. I mean, he's got good stats, but nothing unbelievable. Yeah, 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time All-Star. he was a first-team All-Rookie, but has never made a All-NBA team. He probably should, but yeah, that's where we're at right now, and this team just keeps on chugging. So we had a lot of close games during that playoff run, so I'm actually going to call this video a little bit short here. Let's see, what's our time at currently? 40 minutes. Okay, so we're going to call this a little bit short just because, I don't want to feel like I'm rushing through the off season, but yeah, congratulations to the Spirits, and we'll see what happens, during this off season. Are we going to try to kind of maybe have to chip away at some of the depth for long-term sustainability, or are we just going to be re-signing everybody? I could see either way, and if you want to see what that is, just make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you keep an eye out for future videos, and we will answer those questions in due time. Thank you for watching.